Professor speaks on genetic splicing. Let's get into it. Let's see what he got to say.
With organisms, bacteria, and I want to do something, make a genetic change in them or whatever, very often we'll put in something called a reporter gene, which will then express and change the color of the growth of the colonies, etc., within this plate. Having seen a difference, which is to the experimenter's advantage, this is actually what I want to achieve, because I can then perform my actions on that. I will then take that colony, for instance, and then split it up into different plates and take the other colonies as controls and then move them to different plates. Now, if we go back really to the out of Africa idea, partly the fact that, the whether it was a lush environment they were in, there wasn't really much incentive for people to go walking thousands of miles to do things. It's more likely, given this scenario and what Nigel hypothesizes, is that really in the same way that
there's no much of an incentive for people to walk thousands of miles to do things. Why would you do that? And they say Africa is a motherland where Africa all got all the resources and stuff like that. Do that make sense, y'all? We just gotta question the shit we've been told.
That's with organisms on plates, that these guys were messing with us as a species, really looking for advantageous genetics, not so much racism, as we said.
Genetic splice. Hold on, let me show y'all something real quick. It's a yes, humans share DNA with dogs, canines, and other animals, rats, because all living organisms on Earth share a common ancestor, right? How much DNA share? So let me show y'all some. Let me show y'all some. So y'all see this. 98% chimp, 92% mouse, fruit fly, yeast. Y'all see this youngin right here? He shared DNA with them motherfuckers. My people don't. Let's make that clear, right? And the point of this video is to inform, because for too long we've been ill informed, right? For too long we've been knowing and not understanding who we are, right? For too long we've been had a lack of knowledge of self. And things like this, I just gotta bring up the genetic difference between my people and these people, right? I just made a video the other day talking about quadrobics. These people got a whole sport of them walking like canines and on their fours and running fast as fuck. My people would never do that. And this is not racism. This is facts. This is not racism. This is statistics. And this is to show my people that, listen, you're God body, right? White folks, you share DNA with chimps, mouse, and fruit flies. And you have a white professor talking about that right here. Since motherfuckers don't believe what I say. You see what I'm saying? We got a white professor saying what the I've been saying, and what a lot of other gods and goddesses been saying. You feel me? But this is facts. 98% chimp. Y'all is 98% chimp. Not me. Y'all is 44% fruit fly. Not me. Y'all is 92% mouse. Not me. Let's make that clear. And the way y'all conduct yourself, we see that. We see that. It's not. We see that too. We see that. We see that. Yes, we do. We see that. We see that.
These things are running according to a program. They only care about whether they can mess with it.
And I'm not presenting this to start no race war or no inferior, superior type of thing. Genetically, I'm superior than you. That's just what it is. You're inferior genetically. And it's for too long y'all try to convince us that we're inferior and y'all are superior. No, motherfucker, we're superior. Y'all are inferior genetically. Yes, we contain melanin, y'all don't. I'm gonna do a video on that too if you're curious as to what the fuck that is. You feel me? So stop playing, bro. Because at the end of the day, y'all not as tough as y'all not who y'all really think y'all are. And that's why I'm making this video, bro. Because I just gotta emphasize to my people it's imperative for us to know who we are. It's imperative. It's in a non-negotiable. Because we public enemy number one. So it's non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable.
More efficiently. And it turns out that the molecule melanin Actually, when we mess with genetics and stuff, one of the ways in which we can do it is to use things like ultraviolet light to actually splice the genes in the cells and actually alter the genetics, or to get things to, things we put in to actually take, so that we can almost microsurgically implant them in the cells. The thing is, if these cells have got a lot of melanin in them, it's a dark pigment, it tends to absorb that light and diffract it and turn it into vibrations, etc. And then the light just doesn't get where it's really supposed to go. And so really...
So you're basically saying you can't splice melanin cells because we absorb the light. We absorb the light. Because we take in, we're children of the sun. You see what I'm saying? This for my people like, oh, sunscreen, woo woo. Motherfucker, you just got a white professor just told you. Listen. Look, I want y'all to listen.
The cells. The thing is, if these cells have got a lot of melanin in them, it's a dark pigment, it tends to absorb that light and diffract it and turn it into vibrations, etc. And then the light just doesn't get where it's really supposed to go. And so really, in the discovery...
We're children of the sun. We children of the sun. We always been children of the sun. Always. We don't need no motherfucking... They lied to your ass. Got you. April Fools, bitch. April Fools. They lied to your ass. They lied to your little ass. They lied to your ass. They lied to all of us.
Perhaps even accidental discovery of subspecies of us, if you like, or groups of us, which didn't express so much melanin, made it easier for them to get their genetic profiles into us. And therefore they then sort of sent the white people, if you like, or one group further north. Some became the Aboriginals of Australia, some were left in Africa. And so there was this great movement of these different populations. And really...
So white people, did y'all just get genetically spliced and were placed in different areas? Are y'all called Caucasians because y'all came from a Caucasus mountain? Are y'all... Like, let's question these things, because he just said that. A white professor. You feel me? I don't know what's going on.
They concentrated on the ones which they had most access to.
Because...
so it's not racism in a way.
Yeah, as I said, it's accepted that every person on the planet is basically directly descended from pretty much one Eve in Africa. Now, let's say that was a result, all of the variation that's currently on Earth, that was a result of intervention by the Greys, say, right? Would geneticists not have spotted that in the human genome? Would they not by now have gone, hey, look, this group have been messed with because that genetic change couldn't have happened so quickly? Would they not have spotted it?
A lot of geneticists think things happen randomly, but random changes can then add up, etc. In fact, a lot of statistics says that random variation, etc., is nearly impossible. And in fact, this has led the genetics crowd really into some really big problems trying to explain things like this. And so what they'll do is, yes, quite rightly, the mitochondrial DNA has fluctuated, and you can backtrack that fluctuation. But what else has happened in terms of other interventions to do with both the DNA and with the things that control what DNA does can actually happen an awful lot faster if deliberately put in there.
Right.
But there is a special... Do you want to explain the special about melanin and how it protects the cell, the DNA inside the nucleus? That's very important.
Part of the reason you can't do these experiments, where there's a lot of melanin around, the melanin actually in a lot of people, in black people, it's actually spread out through the skin. It spreads out through the cells and covers everything. But even in a lot of white people, the melanin actually will coat the nucleus of the cell. And therefore the DNA, your central DNA, even in white people, can be actually well protected from the actions of the ultraviolet light.
There's no doubt in people with higher melanin, natural higher melanin, that it's far more likely that melanin will be coating the nucleus, the cell wall of the nucleus of the DNA. Now, the point about that is that ultraviolet light, which is often used to splice DNA, is blocked by that melanin. It absorbs it. It doesn't allow it in to to interfere with the DNA. And it could well be, and this is Nigel's thesis, that this was a blocker for them when they were trying to genetically alter the species. And therefore, when maybe just out of random mutation, something like an albino came along, they discovered, wow, we can get straight in.
Right.
And it may well be that the paler-skinned nation, people on the earth, maybe have that pale skin because of this genetic experimentation to make things easier for them to work on human DNA. And in fact, Professor Steve Jones argues that this...
So they're saying that. What the fuck? My shit dirty as hell. But they saying that. That's crazy, bro. Like, if you got melanin, your cells is protected because the melanin observes the UV rays. Why is my shit so dirty? The melanin observes the UV rays, right? The melanin observes... My nigga. The melanin observes the UV rays, right? And so they have genetic experimentations to where they would take an albino and then genetically experiment with them due to a lack of melanin in their pigmentation. Very interesting.
About vitamin D being paler skin being there to allow vitamin D to be absorbed and so on. All these theories about why pale skin happened in the first place. He believes it's not an adequate explanation. There is no real explanation or justification for the need for pale skin at all.
Yeah, because I think if
dark skin is always an advantage in every circumstance.
Right. As most people.
So this is what they've been hiding from us this whole time. A white professor saying this shit. Bro, this background blowing my shit, bro. Like, come on. A white professor saying this shit. Listen with y'all ears, bruh.
To be absorbed and so on. All these theories about why pale skin happened in the first place. He believes it's not an adequate explanation. There is no real explanation or justification for the need for pale skin at all.
Yeah, because I think if
dark skin is always an advantage in every circumstance.
Right. As most people would.
Dark skin is always an advantage in every circumstance. You got a white professor saying this. That explains all the things that been going on. You see what I'm saying? They understand your power. That's why they want you to forget your power. You got a white professor saying this shit. They study science and shit. They not just talking out their ass. You feel me? They not just talking out their ass. No, they not.
Automatically assume, well, they went to live in the north where there's less sun,
yes.
So therefore their skin changed colour. But that's not the case.
According to Professor Steve Jones, an eminent professor of biology, that is absolute nonsense.
Right, okay.
There's just no reason at all for pale skin.
You would want to absorb more light, and I mean, why do we lose hair?
There's no reason for pale skin. So y'all really inorganic? If
we came to a colder climate, etc.
Yeah.
So obviously, something's wrong with that idea.
Right. All right. And Nigel contends that the white races, the northern European races, have probably had the most interference from this outside entity called the grey alien.
Yeah, and he doesn't say that. It's very important to say he doesn't say that from the point of view of a kind of reverse racism.
Right.
It's just he's letting us know that, right, that's there, you may need to do something about it,
right.
And maybe suggesting ways that we could do something about it. And if you look at the record of the European nations throughout history, in terms of colonialism, imperialism, and what the havoc they've wreaked on the world, it makes the point
that
really.
It's the blue-eyed white races that have got their finger on the nuclear... Well, I mean, what about China? Because he mentions the Chinese as well, doesn't he? He says that they've had significant intervention. Am I right there?
That's right.
It's the black people who haven't. Is that?
Not that they haven't. There's been interception all across the board. They found ways of doing it, but the most efficient way to do it is on cell nucleuses that aren't protected by the melanin shield.
Okay. Right.
That's just the most efficient, easiest way to do it.
Now let's come on to the final part of the thesis. Then they're making these changes because they're continually trying to attach themselves to us so that they can piggyback onto our souls. Have I read that right?
That's right.
So
Which is impossible to do.
Right.
From their perspective and their programming, that's
point is clear. class is now over. This is never about racism. This is about facts that was not taught. Facts that need to be understood, understood and not overstood. But us as a society knowing genetically what we're capable of, genetically where we come from. And now my white folks, y'all informed, and my peoples now we informed. This is not no racism. This is not to go around treating y'all just like y'all shit. This is not for that. This is for a simple science class that was not taught in schools. That's all it is. White people, if you vibe my high, I fuck with you. It don't matter your race, it matter your vibration. We understand that. So let's not get that twisted. I'm not making these videos to say we better than y'all. But genetically we better than y'all. Fuck. Why the fuck would I put myself on your level knowing you share DNA with this, that, and this, and I'm a god body? And you've been lying to my people this whole time. Suck a dick, nigga. You feel me? At the same time, though, like I said, if y'all vibing high, I fuck with you. You not the enemy. It's the government, the reptilian motherfuckers. That's the enemy, not y'all. You hear me? So, that's it.